news right now on KCAL News at 10. The LAPD just issuing a citywide tactical alert.
Immigration protests continuing tonight after a day of ICE raids in LA. Police and riot gear moving in as protesters move around downtown LA.
And this was late this evening. Law enforcement firing tear gas at protesters outside the federal building. People in the crowd throwing that tear gas back.
The violence, the protests, the arrests, all triggered by widespread immigration raids across LA today.
We have team coverage beginning with Tom Waite tonight, who's live in downtown LA, where those protests escalated. Tom.
And Susie and Juan, it was an intense night, and it continues now. As you said, there is a citywide tactical alert, and that means that LAPD officers on shift cannot go home. Now, their tactics have been very effective where we are, not far, about a block away from the federal complex, the federal building complex where the detention center is. You can see this skirmish line of officers here right now. There's basically like just a handful of protesters still here, and police officers have been on the loudspeaker telling them over and over again, if they don't leave or if they come back, they will be arrested. This is just the remnants of what was a much larger crowd earlier, and you saw just a couple of clips there of just how intense and, violent things got when activists, some protesters, started throwing things and objects into the federal complex and at officers and agents there, and they responded with some intense force. Tensions explode downtown at the Federal Detention Center. A crowd of immigration rights activists attacked law enforcement guarding the detention facility. Chaos ensued. It was a day of escalating anger in the Fashion District. This stunning scene, a military-style armored truck slowly rolling through.
Stay on the sidewalk.
Surrounded by masked agents, as the crowd surrounded the truck, tear gas was deployed. Our crew was in the middle of it. At a clothing business nearby, agents made arrests. 18-year-old Katia Garcia was trying to see if her father and uncle were swept up in the raid.
I was unexpected. We didn't know nothing. They just called us. I was at school and they called us and I had to come over here for my dad.
ICE says all told, 44 people were arrested. As the day wore on, immigration rights activists swarmed the front doors of the Federal Detention Center downtown, where they believed the detainees were being held. One man was arrested. Outside the detention center, a teacher from East LA got emotional as she talked about seeing agents carrying out an ICE operation outside a Home Depot in the Westlake district.
This morning, I woke up early to get ready for my students' culmination. I'm a Chiona. I'm sorry, y'all. It was supposed to be a good day. 3 blocks away, I saw day laborers running from our local Home Depot. I took off my heels, grabbed my megaphone, and ran in that direction. What I found devastated me. The food stands were empty. It was a ghost town.
As the evening wore on, activists got more confrontational, leading to this. And you are looking at live pictures once again of the skirmish line out here. The tensions have definitely come down. I mean, you can see there's really barely anyone out here. Many more police officers than there are people. And I'm coughing because, on cue really, I was just about to start talking about the pepper spray, the pepper bombs that they were using just outside of the federal detention complex, which I can see from where I'm standing, where all that stuff went down. We were right literally in the middle of it as things escalated, and at one point we had to run inside the truck because it was overwhelming. The pepper spray and pepper bombs, a very effective deterrent in a very good way, clearly, to disperse the crowd. It's still lingering in my throat. It's not, horribly painful, but it is definitely something that you can feel. And we were in there for some time until LAPD came in and forced everyone out of the area, kind of forming these skirmish lines. And they've actually, let's pan over here, Andre. We have another group of officers coming down the street. I don't know if there are any protesters over there, but it does look like perhaps maybe that there's some other people in the, it looks like a parking lot. It's kind of hard to tell. There's so many bright police lights here. perhaps that they're mobilizing to go to another area. We did hear that there was other activity going on in other parts of downtown. So, right now, as I said, they're on a citywide tactical alert, and they are taking no chances to make sure that these protests don't reconstitute themselves. We don't end up with, the sort of violence that played out earlier. Back to you.
All right, Tom, we're glad you're feeling a little better there.